4, 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. Today we're looking at Debussy Clair de Lune from the suite Bergamasque. Okay, beautiful piece, very popular for a good reason because it's so inspired. And of course, as usual, we'll look at structure and things like that, but I feel like this piece, of course, the biggest challenge is finding the right kind of sound. So that's going to be very important, okay? Check out our schedule if you haven't already. We have a schedule. The link is in the description with all of the live videos, when we're having them, what repertoire we're working on. We will be looking at Brahms' Intermezzo Opus 118, number 2 on Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And let's see here, without further ado, let's get into this Clair de Lune. I'm not going to play the whole thing for you right now, although that would be kind of nice. Well, just waiting for people to connect. There's also a recording of this that I've done years ago, and I also put the link in the description, so you can listen to that. Let's just play a little bit of this. I don't think I'm going to play through the whole thing. Just don't need to do that. But I will just play at least the beginning while we're waiting for people to connect. So here we go. Also, just say hi so I know this is working, and let me know if there's a problem with the sound. We've had problems with the sound before, so it's always reassuring to know that everything is fine. Okay, so here we go. Just a little part of this Clair de Lune so we can get into it. Let's stop there. Said I wouldn't play the whole thing, but it's kind of hard to stop once you start. So hi everyone. Hi Yami, Bill, David, Graham, Cyprien, Piano Man, Zana. Lots of people. Cool. Awesome. Hi everyone. Okay, so let's dive right into this. I just want to start talking about it already. Okay, so this Clair de Lune, do not be deceived. It is not an easy piece, especially to get the right kind of sound. And we can work on that immediately with this. This is the kind of thing you have to experiment on your piano a lot. Okay, it's kind of like really relaxed hands, but again, you're making this ringing sound with the speed. It's a bunch of videos that could help you with this. There's one on this channel that's about how the mechanic inside the piano works, and basically kind of bypassing, playing over the escapement, kind of sort of bypassing the escapement. It could be a way of double escapement, a way of describing it. If you see how it works in the piano, it might help. But the idea is to play very high on the key. That doesn't mean you go all the way in. It just means that the speed of attack is made high up in the key. So the best is just to experiment, you know. Get a very relaxed hand and put the pedal down and make kind of, you know, crescendos, diminuendos, staying very high in the attack of the key. And experiment as much as possible, because that's how you're likely to figure out how to play with a different sound, is by experimentation. Okay, let's look at the rhythm of this also, because this is another kind of tricky thing, right? We're in 9/8, right? And everyone plays something like ta-dee-dum, ta-da-dee-dum. But what's wrong about this is the real rhythm is we start with nothing, right? So there's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Count it like that. Or if we look in 9/8, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it actually starts with a silence. Pa-dee, pa. I think that's probably the mistake everyone makes with this. They just go 1 and 2, 3, right? So that's number 1. Now with the rubato, yes, we have rubato. Personally, I'm not a fan of like extreme rubato in this piece. I just like it to make sense rhythmically, that we can really understand things. So I would recommend, while you're playing this piece, play as straight as possible to start out with, and come back to that periodically if things don't make sense anymore, and then add a little rubato. Let's look at the structure of the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, a little more on here. The first 4 bars, we connect these together, and a little less here. So there's our first 4 bars. That goes together. That's like one piece. Just gonna change this. Here we go. All right, so yes, that dissonance on the first beat of the second bar, that's really special. We have this in the right hand and then in the left hand. So try to practice as much listening so that you can actually hear this. That's kind of hidden in there, right? Because you have, and there it is. So you do a little more on this, but make sure it blends. And then here, this also goes. So you see you have a little less there. See, we come down at this point. Now, again, we're going to have 4 bars. So this is important. Think of your 4 bars. That's going to show you how to shape it, right? So we're going to get a little stronger in the middle of those 4 bars when we get to here. So a little bit more here and here. And then a little less here. And then here's the place to slow it down. So see how coherent that is versus doing something like. was kind of nice, but it's not showing the overall structure. And then back down to here, back to D flat major. Okay, I think we've covered it up to there pretty much, right? So that's that T flat there. Here we're building up another resonance. We need a bit of bass. It's kind of like the foundation for everything. Always listen. Like you're painting that picture, you have like a background, and then you put a little something and maybe a little star in the sky. Right? This is actually a syncopated note, just like in the beginning, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and try to get these and not. Actually, it's not terrible, but I like. Sorry. Because this is the syncopation, and here's the dissonance, and then it resolves E flat, and we've already had E flat. Yeah, that's how I see it. And same thing here, a little less on the D. So we have E more E flat, less D flat. And these are kind of like waves, right? So you can imagine, you know, you're lying at the beach and you hear that wave come in. It's like, right? So, and then it just relaxes here. And then you have another one. So you can have fun with this, you know? Crescendo. Here, maybe a little more. That last one I probably did too much. Okay, all right, we've made it past the first page, right? And this is maybe a personal thing, but I like to really hear those duplets. I hear the triplets behind them. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So, you know, practice being a master of your 3 versus 2 so that you can do that. Then you can play your rubato, but fit it still in the right place. I think a lot of people are a little confused about that rhythm there. So, all right. Okay, let's just read some comments here. Hi from Georgia. Cool, awesome. San Diego. Where's everyone from? Salt Spring Island. I bet you can play the entire Bergamasque. I played it a couple of years ago. It's not easy, Bergamasque. It doesn't seem like a very complicated thing, but it's pretty tricky. All of the other pieces, I wouldn't know what say which one is easier. Even Clair de Lune is even among the easier ones to play. Tips for Chopin Waterfall Etude. Is that the? I haven't played that one, so. Your channel is great. Do you approach it with a Taubman technique? I don't actually, but that's also good stuff. When studying Clair de Lune, it always gets real on that third page. You betcha. When the left hand has to execute these rolling alternating arpeggios on alternating harmonies, how do you get them nice and clean? Yeah, okay, we're going to get right into that, David. So yeah, that's a good point there. Okay, let's look at this. Tempo rubato. All right, from E flat. Here, try to get as much these two sounds to blend. So however you play this, very gentle, also gentle up here, maybe with a little bit of that G flat here with the second finger, and a bit of fifth finger. But we want this similar. So not, let's say, that's kind of really a different kind of sound, right? I don't know how this comes out on the microphone, but very mysterious. Different chord here, isn't that nice? We had G flat major, and then E flat minor. That's really nice. Yeah. Now the rubato. Here's how I probably have really set opinions about how this piece should be played. So I'm just going to be really honest about that. And you know, here's how I would really suggest playing this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and 2. Something like that, right? So do move it here. It should move. And then you slow it down at the end. That works very well. Someone is at the door and the dog is going to start barking. Nadia, Lisa's here. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. We have an extra dog here. Okay. Don't disconnect the camera. All right, so here we go. Second one. Sorry about that distraction. We have 1, 2, 3. Remember about that again, feeling that 3 versus 2. So 1, 2, 3. We can also go into a little bit playing with the body here, right? So 1, 2, 3. How do we do that? Not just from the arms. Let me switch the camera so I can see. Not just moving from here with the arms, but connecting this like that. It's like this moves where the sits bones are. 1, 2, 3. That really helps connect this together. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So go get the E flat, right? 2, 3, 1. G flat. I'm sorry. Here. You can reach that a little bit, right? So first time we didn't have that. This was the highest note. Now second time, even higher. Per crescendo and anime. So we get a little bit faster and louder. Maybe hardly faster, but hardly louder as well. We don't want to get too strong here, but it's getting a little more excited. Follow that chromatic bass line here in A flat. Almost always chromatic. A natural. Now B flat. C natural. D flat. Okay, let's see a couple of tips here. It is possible to take some of these octaves with the left hand. If you want to free up the right hand a little bit. The G flats, a little bit more this one. But start loud and come back down. See? And then B flat. I like to go into that at this point since we're moving forward. Instead of doing that, go into the next bar. And again, maybe a personal thing, but here I like to bring out the thumb in the left hand. color it a little bit. Yeah, you don't have to stick it out super strong. And now, this is our highest note here. We've had. I think a lot of people are going to go. That's okay as well for this place. Less and less. 1, 2, 3. And that brings us to Poco più masso. All right, my favorite part of this piece. How to avoid overpedaling in this piece. Hi, Amy. Hi, everyone who's joined this stream. Overpedaling, that's definitely going to be an issue. You know, if you overpedal, really, it's because you're not listening. So you don't listen to, for example, someone leave the pedal down here. It's not really listening to this. That's completely slipped you that's in there. So listen to that. And then, yes, it's true that even if you hear those things, you might still overpedal, right? Do we leave the pedal for this? Or do you pedal again? You know, that would be a smart thing to do. It's okay to have the pedal down here, but then freshen it up here, you know, re-pedal it so you hear everything as clear as possible. And then whenever you have these things, of course the pedal has to be down. So pedal. It's really a listening thing. If there's too much pedal, then you need to listen more. What is the translation of the title? Clair de Lune. Clair, I believe Clair. Anyone who's master of French could, you know, really translate that, but it's the light from the moon, from the moon. So the moonlight, right? It's like the Moonlight Sonata, which Beethoven didn't call it that, but this Debussy specifically called moonlight. So Clair de Lune is moonlight. Should one aim to mesh the sounds by applying a lot of pedal? Yeah, okay, so I think we've covered that. Thank you for that clarification. Moonlight, there we go. Exactly. Okay, I'm working on Reflet dans l'eau. That is awesome piece. Very similar atmosphere and touch. I love that. Reflet dans l'eau is probably my favorite piece by Debussy, even more than Clair de Lune. It's so awesome, so fun to play. So yeah, absolutely. Debussy is full of atmospheres, and you have that light touch also in D flat. With certain notes that stick out more. That's a bit too much, but yeah. Very different from Beethoven's Moonlight. Again, don't forget that Beethoven didn't call this sonata Moonlight. I think we have a session on Moonlight coming up also. So, you know, we call it Moonlight. We all know what it is, but he didn't call this Moonlight. This is something that, you know, I don't know who his editor or someone eventually added to this piece, Moonlight, you know, and maybe also since it was very popular. But Beethoven only wrote sonata in the manner of a fantasy, quasi-fantasia. So it's an interesting thing, you know. He's writing sonatas and breaking the sonata form now. What sonata before this Moonlight Sonata had begun like this with a slow movement, right? So yes, of course, it's very different. Play the two of them back to back. I like that. That would be good. We'll have a moonlit concert. You know, maybe outside under the moonlight. So wonderful. Thank you for clarifying that, Cyprien. All right, so let's go into this Poco più masso. Here we go. So we have. I like to think here. Don't forget about the 2 of each group of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It kind of helps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See how that changes the way we play it? Instead of just being, we have. Keep an eye out for that whenever you have this kind of figuration. It's usually hidden in there somewhere, that you want to shape a bit towards the second beat of your triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That should get a more flowy feel, but also a more stable rhythm. So, and you do want a real clean meter here. Keep the meter clean, not too much rubato, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, fingering here. This is a good idea. Start with 1, 3, and then switch for a 5, just to get the right sound. It's hard to get this sound with 3, 5. You can do it, but it's not as good. So that's kind of fun, you know, just play it with the fingers that make it sound the best, and then change them. You can do the same thing there. All right, let's go on. All right, it's like another wave. So, you know, imagine here you have these. See, we have that. Have as much fun with this as possible, shaping that left hand. Have any fingerings here? I have some that I don't do. Again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now Debussy does this sort of thing, right? Repeat the same thing 2 bars with the same dynamic, a little crescendo. It's like you're trying to get there, and then you start again. Then we get somewhere here. Decrescendo on that augmented 5th A flat, back to D flat major. Okay, here's another place where I think people are kind of confused with the rhythm. So it's not anything like that. Keep the 16th notes, should be your guide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, this is 2 versus 3, you know, or in my score I have 4 written there. So what's the volume of this section? Forte. Not really. This is pianissimo, but with waves, right? We only have forte at this part, right? So, and that's also very important for Debussy. Debussy said, if it's expressive everywhere, then it's never really expressive. So, and you see that in his music. He'll put like one peak moment in, and a lot of other things are really quiet, you know? You have the same thing in most of his pieces, you know? I'm thinking of Le Reflet dans l'eau. You also have this moment where it gets like really crazy, and then it's really soft for most of the piece. So this is pianissimo. Maybe I'm playing it a little loud. So we've just come from this, remember? So we have to stay calm here, for sure. And then... That's where all of a sudden we have a little bit more sound. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Bill. I probably didn't do that as well as I could have, you know, just staying really soft here after 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, really soft here. Then a little bit more here. Back to piano now. Back to piano again. Last again. Now we're back to piano or something like that here. Crescendo. Crescendo. This is the worst part. That's an A. And here's our forte. Back to pianissimo. All right, so how to avoid stretched hands in Chopin's etudes? Okay, that's another question. We'll get into that in a little bit, Santa. Just finish with this piece first. So, okay, we are at this. Use your wheel technique here for each group of 3, but also show the line with that chromaticism there. Less on the augmented chord. En animant. So en animant means it's becoming more and more animated here. So you can push it a little bit. That's a little tricky spot, yeah. That's a melody we should hear. C, G, E, C, G, E, G. Beautiful chromatic line here in the left hand. G sharp, F sharp, E sharp, E, D sharp, C. Almost always chromatic. C, La, Sol, Fa. So that's the thing to follow here. We need a kind of guide to piece this whole thing together. It's the bass. That is annoying, right? So you gotta kind of follow the movement here to bring that not jumping like this, right? But one gesture. Let's see if I can get this. This is definitely the most technically challenging part of this piece. There's a number of fingerings you can use as well. I tend to prefer 5 on the F sharp. And then I do, so 5, 3, 2, 1, 5, 3, 2, 1, 2. Back to the 5 on the F sharp. And then like that. But, you know, you could also put 1 on the F sharp. 5, 3, 2, 1. 5, 3, 2, 1. Back to 1 here. Maybe that's even better fingering. I'm just used to doing it that way. I have another one here. 5, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Not a big fan of that one. But of course we want a little shape to that. Here as well. See, these lines become almost like pictures when you shape them like that. All right, I think that kind of covers it. 5, 3, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2 5 5 4 3 4 3 4 or 5 4 3. Couple of ways of doing that. This part is not easy because you're coming down from a really intense section, right? And then all of a sudden you have double P, and it's just not that hard. That's not that easy, rather. Pardon me. So get the rotation here. So this is really like this. All right, and fingering 1 2 3. Change the 3 for a 1, so you can have 2 4 3 1. That leaves you room to go up here while holding that C, right? Now we have 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. So this one, and the second time, this is syncopation. So that this chord is different both times. It looks like E flat minor, right? At the end of the bar in the right hand. The first bar, lift. Now syncopation. All right, so here, you know, play around with the sound. All right. I think I should be talking about this more. We just move on a little bit. Okay, let's move on a bit, all right? This is going to be long. Now listen to this. B flat, C, B flat, A natural, C flat or B. Right? So you have them. Triple P. Here's a place again. Take time here, right? Don't go right through this. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. It's really nice. This is much more distant than the beginning, you know. So it can be a little slower, you know. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So in the same spirit as the beginning, keep those 4 bars somehow connected to each other. And you have that kind of bell that's there. F, F. So see that bar? The second bar can be a little more. Not an easy thing to do. Playing this so soft with the right kind of sound. If this is enough, then we can come down a little here. If you like, stick out the B flat that resolves to A natural in the right hand. I really like that. 1 2 3 1 2 3. 2 3 1 2 3. Just hold that A 1 2 3. I don't know if it's held or repeated. In this edition, it's repeated. You have that nice 7 7th in the bass here. That's really nice. So try to find the balance between sticking out the 7th and keeping this kind of bright. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Very similar to before, except the bass is different. A flat. And again, we have that 7th. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So again, we had 4 bars here. They somehow have to piece together so it feels like one thing. First bar, 1, 2, 3, and a bit less on the 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So see where to take time. Take time based on the structure. The structure should be there. I like this fingering. Use the 1 as a pivot. Maybe less and less. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. I like to slow down there, right? You maybe don't have to, but starting the next section, don't be too slow, because now we're going to slow down gradually more and more to the end. So you don't want to start. That should be 2 bars later, right? So even if this is slow, 1, 2, 3, 1, bright to A flat here, 1, 2, 3. Take it back a little. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now a little slower. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is, I like to really milk this. 1, 2, 3. That's maybe just really personal. I love to stretch it there. Okay, let's look at this. The bass and A, fa, follow that. Just like we had in that middle section. Plus 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. That's it. Greetings from Argentina. Hi, Martina. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can do with the left hand here, the D flat, and then a little slower. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This one you don't need to do with the left hand. So this one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And now maybe a little more bright, but slower. So see, we can take a lot of time, and of course listen, and keep listening to the trucks outside, right? So you see, don't rush that end, really. I don't know if it's possible to play that too slow. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. These notes just make each note sound very beautiful. 2, 3. Maybe squeeze the belly button into the spine so that you put less weight into the instrument. For these things, this is not easy to keep that really soft, right? So, okay, all right. I think we've done a pretty good job on this. So, there's a resource I ordered again. If you can check it out, The Pianist's Guide to Historic Improvisation. Interesting. John Mortensen. The reason I say this is because we classical folks aren't really taught improvising much these days. That is true. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of not in the sort of, or at least it hasn't been for years, in the ways we're taught and the methods that are used for teaching, we're not taught to improvise very much classical. So, but I encourage everyone to. For a request, I was wondering if you could video on historic improvisation. Okay, variation on a theme, Mozart, Bach. Want to know the teaching behind impromptu. Do a video on historic improvisation. Okay, well, I'm not a master of improvisation myself, so... but that is interesting. Often play jazz and incorporate some phrases from classical music for amusement, but classical improvisation is so much different. I see. Maybe I could do some kind of video, but honestly, I maybe should read up on it or something. I can improvise classical style. I can't improvise jazz. You know, I can make up classical shit, but I can't make up jazz shit. So, hi Canon guy. Glad you like the channel. Okay, that's interesting. Thanks for that, David. Thank you, Martina. So here we had it. Debussy, Clair de Lune. I hope you guys enjoy, whether you're just listening or playing this piece or playing along while we're doing this. Next Tuesday, we're looking at Brahms Intermezzo 118, number 2. That beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece by Brahms. Maybe one of the most beautiful things ever written. So it doesn't have a really catchy title like Moonlight or Clair de Lune. It's just Opus 118, number 2. But that's how it is. So check out the schedule in the description. If you want to become a patron, check out the Patreon page as well. There's also a video of Clair de Lune. It's some old performance of it. Chopin, please. Yeah, we will have more Chopin. I believe we'll be looking at the C minor nocturne. C minor nocturne. That's it. In a couple of weeks. And let me know what pieces you like us to look at in the comments. Always love to hear. If it's a really obscure piece, we might not look at it unless it's really freaking awesome, especially if it's something I know already. But there's so much really standard repertoire that we can look at on here. I said I will do it after Clair de Lune. Oh, okay, maybe that's it. Just check that schedule as often as possible, Xana, because things get moved around there. So maybe I'm a little confused about the schedule myself. So just check it out. And that's it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. The first part of the suite, yeah, the prelude, that would be great. That's another really good one. Or the whole suite actually would be great. I would really like to do a few sessions on Liszt Sonata. That would be cool. And we're going to look at Rock 2 a little bit later this month. So that might give us the chance to do something that's a little bigger, you know, a little longer, and maybe we do in several sessions. Yeah, everyone loves Chopin. That seems to be the consensus. And Scriabin too. Yes, Scriabin is wonderful. That's a good one. We should do the D flat minor etude. Yeah, I can't remember it now, but yeah, we should look at that etude. That would be great. Okay, guys, this wraps up our live stream. See you all in the other videos. See you on Monday. Peace, over and out, and happy practicing.